Welcome to WoW number 39. And for the new listeners, it stands for Waves of Wellness. And we started this show 39 weeks ago or so. And the purpose was to help you all develop healthy habits that will carry you into the future that we know is coming. And that way, it will be easier to maintain your results. It also helps support the frequencies that you are receiving from the QT wave. And all of you have been here before, right? Nobody's new. So, okay. So you have me, which is the host, Tracee, who I have a background in nutrition and fitness. And then we have Dr. Gloria, who is also a co-host that has a 40 years in practicing naturopathic medicine. And that's mostly for the people who listen to the replay that may not have heard the show before. And last week we covered, hi, Jonna, we covered how to do a liver and gallbladder cleanse. And today is part 2 because she ran out of time and she wasn't able to finish everything. Has anybody started doing it this week yet? Or are you guys waiting until we finish? Waiting? Okay, cool. Me too. Even though I've done it before. So Dr. Gloria, go ahead and unmute yourself because we'll get started right away.
Absolutely. So I'm really kind of happy that you didn't start it yet, but I want to answer some questions that came up last week. One of them was several people were concerned about what in the heck is phosphoric acid, which is what I recommend in the protocol that Tracee put up so that you could download. Phosphoric acid is made from phosphorus, and it's one of the minerals that we all need in our body. Phosphorus is it's found in a lot of foods. So people, for instance, on special diets for kidney disease, so forth, have to watch their phosphorus, their potassium, all of that, because it is a mineral. So it's not, when it says acid, I think that scares people. An acid, what am I going to be taking? No, 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 no. It's in food. So don't worry about that. But it is important because it works with calcium, which helps form the strong bones and teeth. So it's not, you're not giving your body anything that's really foreign. You're giving it an acid in a form that is, I don't like the taste. I put it in a little bit of grapefruit juice, but it's meant to soften the stones of whatever stones or calcifications that we may have in the liver and gallbladder, because they'll get caught in that bile duct. And there were some comments about, well, this isn't the original Hulda Clark protocol. No, it's not. It's based on her protocol. I met Hulda Clark in Southern California, but we were having problems both in my clinic and the doctors that I work with and network with, because people were getting stones caught in the bile duct. And I mentioned last time that several people ended up in the emergency room because the stone was caught. They got an infection, a high fever, and they had to remove their gallbladder. So we've never had, in the literally thousands now of the people that I've worked with doing the flush the way I wrote it, have any problems. Why? Because we soften the stones. And that's what phosphoric acid does in a high potency that's concentrated. So when you get phosphorus in food, it's just the amount of minerals like calcium, magnesium, potassium, all of that. But when you put it in a concentrated form, it literally softens. So when you take it in a food or a supplement, okay, it helps the teeth and the bones get stronger. But when you take it in a concentrated form, it softens all those stones so that they're kind of like, one of the doctors said, it's like silly putty. They'll squeeze through the bile duct and they won't get caught. Okay, if you're drinking enough fluids, if you're doing the protocol the way that Tracee posted it for you. So that's answering that about the phosphoric acid. The other thing that was important was, we'll talk about at the end if we have time, because I made notes so I wouldn't forget. Hold on just a second, because my computer doesn't always. So people wanted to know, well, okay, I don't have a gallbladder. So what happens? Does the liver still produce bile? Yes, it does. And so I'm going to show you that on the PowerPoint so that if you have questions, then we can clear them up, so that I don't want you to have any doubts or questions about this cleanse if you choose to do it. Remember, we're not giving medical advice, diagnosing, or treating. I'm sharing experiences of over 40 years of working with patients and having 2 clinics for 22 years. And this is what's worked. Okay, so it's not something that you can go online and find 200 different types of gallbladder cleanses. Somebody does one and says it worked and they post it, but they're not doing, in my opinion, any justice to any of you if you're not using something to soften the stones. The last thing I want to say is many people say, well, yeah, but all the other protocols say use Epsom salts. Well, yeah, you should if you're constipated. You shouldn't be doing this cleanse if you're constipated to begin with. But if you have bowel movements that are not full and complete, and I'm going to say it bluntly like I do to my patients, if you're not having a cow dump, meaning everything is out, you feel everything is dumped, it's not like, oh, there's still something there, but my body's not cooperating, then you need to have Epsom salts or an extra dose of vitamin C. Also works because that can cause loose stools. That's why when we tell people to take vitamin C, we say take it to bowel tolerance. That means until you get loose stools, then you back off until you find what your body likes at that time. And that changes depending on stress and diet and environment and everything else. So hopefully that clears it up. The questions, Tracee, that we were getting, why Epsom salts and why phosphoric acid and what is it? So Epsom salts is fine to use regardless. But the reason I don't use it because my bowels are very regular, because I can have the cleanse like this morning and I can be out for lunch at noon or doing this call. If I had Epsom salts, I'd have loose stools for a day or two. That's the reason I don't use Epsom salts in the cleanse unless you don't have full and complete daily bowel movements. Okay. I hope that clears that up. Okay.
Got
Do
it.
you want to start, Tracee?
Yep. Let's hit it.
Okay, so why a liver and gallbladder flush? Now, normally, like when I'm teaching or lecturing, I don't like to put a lot of text in because I don't need to. I know this stuff inside out. Not everything. There's things I don't know by memory. But in this case, I did because you're going to get this PowerPoint. Tracee's going to share it with you just like she did last week. So it's important that you have it to refer to. So I want you to look at what are some of the symptoms? Because the first symptom I get that I need a cleanse is I start belching and I get this little bit of indigestion, not heartburn necessarily for me, but I get indigestion. And when I eat, it's like, oh, it's just kind of like sitting there. That's because I need to do a cleanse. And again, it's recommended to do one every season, 4 times a year, like most of the Europeans do, especially Eastern Europe does that. All the medical doctors advise that over there. But even if you do it a couple times a year, depending on your lifestyle, you're eating. If you're eating out a lot, you're a traveling salesperson, and you're having a lot of fast food and eating in restaurants all the time, I would say you need one every 3 months. If you're cooking from scratch, your health is in really good shape. Twice a year might be okay. Just judge it by how many stones you get. And if you don't get a lot the first time, like I didn't, just got a lot of sand and gravel, that doesn't mean I don't have stones. That may mean that it dissolves some of them, but there's some big ones in there that still had to be softened. So either way, it's better to do one or two cleanses before you decide you don't need another one for 3 months or 6 months. So here's the symptoms. Now, another symptom that people don't recognize usually is the increased body temperature. And I'm not talking about female menopausal hot flashes. I'm talking about, maybe you're always comfortable or you're a little cold. All of a sudden, everything is hot. You're feeling weak. You're belching, like I said before, a lot. And you're starting to have that pain, that kind of a dull bruise feeling in the lower right part of your body. So it's not necessarily just below the waist, it's usually just above the waist, but that depends on where your liver sits and where your gallbladder sits. Your liver is under your right breast, gallbladder is right underneath it. It's that little sac. Remember last week I called it it's like a little prune, and it's not very big either, and neither is the tube where the bile duct where the bile goes through. Okay, let's go to the next one. So you can refer to this later as to that's not the only symptoms, but that's one big one. I wanted to put up another picture of the liver and gallbladder because I think you asked me, Tracee, last time, if I'm correct, what that funny little thing is that looks like grapes there underneath. Remember on one of the pictures you said, what is that?
Yeah.
That's the pancreas. And people think, like myself, I'm type 2 diabetic. They think the pancreas, all of my patients think the pancreas is on the left side, like under the left breast, like the liver's under the right breast. No, it's not. So when you get stomach aches, or when you're getting that, oh, that horrible feeling of indigestion in the center, it's usually because the stones are caught and it's affecting the pancreas. Because look at the tubes. Look at the tubes there that's connecting to the sphincter of Oddi. You'll see that, or Oddi. I call it Oddi. And you'll see that little tube can also go into the pancreas. So you're really slowing down and or blocking literally the function of the pancreas, which is what balances your blood sugar. If you have a lot of stones, so that little whatever you want to call it, that small device, it can look like a prune or it can look like a fig, that is your gallbladder, is tiny, but it has a huge function in the body and it sits right underneath the liver. Okay. Now, the detox pathways, this is important and you can look at it later in detail, but this is what the pathways of your liver do. Now, let's see, go back to the previous one for a minute, if you would. The liver has two chambers, phase 1 and phase 2. So now we can go to the next slide, Tracee, if you would. And the phase 1, this tells you what it does. People say, well, okay, so what does it do? Remember, I mentioned that phase 1 to me is like the pre-filter of a vacuum cleaner, for instance. A nice Dyson vacuum cleaner, for instance, has a pre-filter that breaks down the toxins so that the motor doesn't overheat, overwork. Your liver does the same thing. I mean, our creator is obviously more than genius, but it breaks down fatty toxins. Okay, and forget about all the medical terms. Kelly would know what those are, but all those medical terms are the genes that are included in that breakdown. Then phase 2 finishes the job. And in a vacuum cleaner, it would be so that the vacuum cleaner doesn't overheat and the motor burns up. In your body, it's so toxins, pesticides, drugs, insecticides, all of that, even hormones that are synthetic hormones, if they're not completely washed through phase 1 and phase 2, then you have symptoms of those particular, whether it's pesticides, you can have a rash, allergic reactions, anaphylactic reaction, lots of allergies, whether it's environmental or food, etc. So I just wanted you to understand that there are two phases. There's like a little membrane that divides the liver in two. And when you hear somebody say, my phase 1 isn't working, because I can usually tell when I scan people, or my phase 2 isn't working, you'll know what it means. It's actually two pouches, call it that, with a membrane that separates it, which is like your pre-filter and then your filter, so that what goes out of phase 2, the body's able to deal with. Okay? You can read the actual explanations later on. Okay, the next one. So here you go. See the little dividing membrane that's right on top of phase 2? So this is what it does. Phase 1 is fat soluble toxins. So this is where all of the B vitamins and the zinc and all the herbs that we take, like I take milk thistle for my liver, all of that is processed in phase 1. Then it goes to phase 2. And what does that do? It's supported with each of the things you need to take if you're supporting those phases. If you know you have a phase that isn't working properly, amino acids, magnesium, B vitamins, all of us need B vitamins in this day and age because we're under so much stress. And all of us know what that is. And if you listened to the show last night on Volunteer Call, you'll know why we're all saying this. And then some people call it phase 3. I don't. It's the transportation phase. It's the liver drainage. So you can also call it, a lot of the books, medical books, call it phase 3 of the liver. But that is why you need the fiber, so that your colon can get all this out. You need the Roto-Rooter brushes. And you need, Tracee and I constantly remind you about hydration. Why? Because you can't even get through the process of detox. Yeah, right here, without detoxification. And without the proper water, you can't detox. So you have to be able to have those bowels moving. And like I said, have your big, full, and complete bowel movement every day. But I wanted to show you this because it's the best graphic I've had in the teaching material that I've used that really shows that big membrane between phase 1 and phase 2. Okay, next one. Okay, now this is a lot of reading, so I'll let you do that. But I wanted you to see, okay, how the body actually digests fat. Because most people think it's the gallbladder that makes the fat. It isn't. It's the liver that produces the bile. The bile then sends it to the gallbladder, the production of the bile. The gallbladder sends the bile to the small intestine. So do you see how it's all connected? It's not just going to stay in the gallbladder, go back through the bile duct, help you digest your fats, and the liver's happy. No, it then sends that bile to the small intestine. Why? Because it helps break down and digest the fat molecules. Okay? But in the process, it breaks down those fats and it helps the pancreas to release digestive enzymes. See, so you're starting to see how important the liver and gallbladder is. And they don't even teach this in my my postgraduate courses. They didn't teach this specifically this way so that it's understandable, okay, in your advanced medical courses, even in a nutritional course, because they just say, oh yeah, you need the bile, and if you don't have a gallbladder, you better take this. You need to understand the interconnection. So the pancreas then can release digestive enzymes if it's not clogged. You saw in the other graphic how those little ducts can get clogged that also affect the pancreas. Then the bile and the enzymes. Now the pancreas has released those enzymes, and now the bile and the enzymes emulsify. So they emulsify the fat. They break it down, in other words, shake it up like we emulsify our salad dressings. It shakes it up, mixes it all up with the bile and the enzymes, and that's what breaks down the fat so that it doesn't just sit there and not only give us fatty liver, but causes all kinds of problems, including the condition that will often cause people to have their gallbladder removed. And then the small intestine, which is the one that absorbs all of our nutrition, is fast at work, and then it's recycled. Listen to this. The bile is then recycled from the intestines back to the liver for reuse. Isn't that amazing? It's like taking oil and reusing it and putting it in something else. So I needed you to understand I wrote all of these specifics down so that you would understand it, but I don't want to go through them because they're in writing. But I wanted you to see this drawing so that you could identify every little part and what it does. Okay, next one. Kelly, any comments on what I've said so far? Nope. Okay. Boy, I got her. If I get a passing grade from Kelly, I'm good. Now this is a cute. I mean, I have to use some humor here sometimes, and this is rest in peace when you have to lose your gallbladder. Okay, but it's such a key role, as I just explained, in digestion, not only in your stomach, not only in your liver, but in your pancreas and your small intestine as well. So it's important that we know what to do when you don't have a gallbladder. Okay. So I'm going to share that with you in a moment, but you can go to the next one because I want them to have this to read more than need to have to talk about it. So why is bile important? Look at, here's a large drop of oil and look at what the bile does to it. Okay. It dilutes the contents from the stomach, creates the pH for the pancreatic enzymes. There we go. Pancreas again. Okay. Even in advanced education, I was never told that it optimizes the pH for pancreas. Pancreas was never mentioned when we were discussing liver and gallbladder or bile. And it contains bile salts, which emulsify, like I said previously, it breaks down all of those fats so that the body can process them and use them. And there's the drop, and then there's the bile salts again that break down the oil into small drops. Now, people that have fatty liver have a compromised digestive system, usually a compromised gallbladder or no gallbladder, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted you to see a visual so that you would remember what that bile does. Okay, next one. Okay, so here's major functions, and I will just go through a few of them real quick. But it's important that we understand that it breaks down basically the fat molecules, okay? But it also alkalizes our stomach acid. Why? To neutralize it. And this is one important thing I want to tell you. One of the bullets there, and I'm not going to go through every one, you can read them, is along with the enzyme lecithin, it reduces surface tension. So that means that all of that work that phase 1 and phase 2 are doing and the digestion is doing is really helped by lecithin. If you do not have a gallbladder, and this is something you might want to write down, if you don't have a gallbladder, I recommend that you use sunflower lecithin. Do not buy any other kind of lecithin. It comes in capsules and they're huge. I take those sometimes and then I get tired of them. And then I get the liquid because you can put it into a smoothie. It comes in powder, which I don't like, but it does come in powder. And what it does is, and if you ever want to do a test, take the fat when you've roasted a turkey or a chicken or a roast, and you let it get cold and then you get all the fat. Take the fat off and put it back in a skillet by itself and sprinkle some lecithin granules in it, and the fat disappears. Don't ask me where it goes. I don't know scientifically, but I've done that in class. And when I've done it at hotels, when we were lecturing, I'd ask them to bring me some fat and tell them ahead of time how to do it. And they freak out. Well, where did it go? There's no fat left. It literally emulsifies it. I don't know if it goes up into the air and you breathe it. I don't really know. But I do know that it gets rid of it. And that's the purpose of using sunflower lecithin capsules, powder, or liquid if you don't have a gallbladder, because that will help break down the fat even more so. And then with some digestive enzymes or some bitters, which I'll share with you, I brought my bottle so you can see it, then you have options. So you don't have to take all three. Start out with one and see how you do. If lecithin does it, has a lot of other good health benefits. You can look that up. And it's made from sunflower. So if that does it, fine. But like everything else that I've discussed with you, you have to rotate things. Everything in life is in balance. Just because lecithin works, don't do it for the next 10 years. Maybe do lecithin for a month or two, then see how you do with the bitters I'm going to recommend. Then maybe go back to a digestive enzyme. And again, Tracee showed us which ones those were that we use, the life extension ones. We can show that real quick at the end. So don't stick with one thing just because it works. Because the complaint people have is, boy, Dr. G, I felt really good in the beginning. And now 5 months later, 6 months, 8 months later, I've got all the symptoms back. Why? Because they didn't switch. The body gets used to it and it stops working. It says, she's going to give me that again, or he's going to give it to me again tomorrow. I don't need to work with it. So remember that it's important, if you don't have a gallbladder, to either use the lecithin, sunflower lecithin, in any form that you want. If you're cooking with it and you want to reduce the fat in the gravy, you can use the powder. But if you're going to consume it, then use the liquid or the capsules. And the other thing that's important that people don't know is that bile moves the toxins through the body so that you can eliminate them through the colon. It actually moves them, okay? And it converts, this is something I'm going to show you in a moment, it converts thyroid hormone into its active state. Did you know that, Kelly? Were you taught that? Yeah, see, I told you, she knows more than most MDs that I work with. So remember this. It converts the thyroid hormone into its active state. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay. Of course, it helps your microbiome, your gut. But let's go to the next one. You can go back and refer to this. Okay. More reasons to encourage it. And this is something that is fairly recent. A European study found that people who improved their bile health skyrocketed their metabolism. Tracee, people like Tracee that are very active, that are athletic, it increases your metabolism by a whopping 53%. Okay? And on the other hand, without enough of any of the bile, your thyroid function slows down. What happens? We can't lose weight. We're tired. We don't sleep. The whole thing, because our thyroid is the master command center. It's like the air traffic controller in an airport. It gives all the commands to the muscles and the tendons and the blood and the heart and everything. So when there's miscommunication, because your thyroid is hypo, meaning low, not the hyper, which is Hashimoto's disease, but when it's hypo, which is low, just remember po is low. you have trouble remembering it, everything comes to a screeching halt. It triggers all of that fatigue and our hair thinning and mood swings and everything else. So, in other words, bile is one of your best buddies in losing weight because it helps the thyroid, okay? And it helps your digestive system, your lower GI, and everything else because the thyroid is the master command center. Okay, and so I just gave you some research there so that you would know where I got the information. So, okay, let's go to the next one. What slide are we on, Tracee? What number? Do you know so that I can, it's okay
No,
if you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, no problem. No
Here,
problem, honey.
let's go.
Okay,
Let's
so
see.
here's the,
Okay, so we have like 4 more.
yeah, I thought it wasn't very many more. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, here is the gallbladder thyroid connection. Okay, so it's essential, as I said a minute ago, with thyroid function. But why is it essential? Well, because when the bile breaks down your dietary fats, as I talked about, your body releases those special enzymes, converts thyroid hormone T4 into the active hormone T3. So this conversion is what revs up your metabolism. It's required for overall metabolism. And after gallbladder surgery, thyroid functioning usually declines. And what we do is we do a simple patch test with iodine on our wrist. And I don't think we've shared that yet, Tracee. That's another whole discussion. Because all of the European doctors and the doctors in South America that I've worked with, and in China, even when I was teaching at the teaching hospital in Shanghai, I thought they were going to look at me like I was nuts. And they went, oh, we've been doing that for centuries. And so I can share that with you at a later date. But you have to find out how your thyroid is functioning. Because after you remove your gallbladder, especially, if you don't do that iodine patch test, and I can tell I'm going to have to get it to Tracee pretty soon, after telling you this, if you don't find out, and it costs you nothing but the bottle of iodine, the orange stuff we used as kids for cuts and scratches. And when you go to the drugstore to get it, you now have to order it. In a lot of states, you have to get it from the pharmacist. It's not a prescription, but they keep it behind the counter. And so I used to buy it by the 24 bottles, and I'd give one to every new patient when I told them what test I wanted them to do in my clinic before they came back next time. And all of a sudden, Sharon, who runs my institute, went to get me a case. And she was born and raised in the town where I had my clinic. Everybody knows everybody. Okay, they all went to school with somebody. And he says, I'm really sorry to have to ask you this, Sharon, but I need your driver's license or a passport. She says, what? I'm a retired educator. I was born and raised here, and I've known your dad since your dad was little. He says, I'm sorry, that's a new law. And she says, why? Because they were using it as an ingredient in methamphetamines. So rather than being able to go buy the orange stuff that you could buy in any drugstore, they now, in many states, not every state, you now have to ask the pharmacist for it. And you don't want the clear one that they've made now because they don't want you to stain your skin. Well, we want the stain so that we can tell how long it stays on. And that's how it guides us as to how your thyroid is functioning and to what degree. So stones are generally avoided with proper nutrition, good gut health, meaning good probiotics. Remember, your gut holds over 70% of your immune system, and your gut is not your stomach. It is your intestinal tract. So you need to do detox to reduce the toxic load periodically. And we are what we eat. So that's all going to affect the thyroid when you don't have a gallbladder, especially. Okay, the next one. We only have a couple more, then we have plenty of time for questions. So here, you saw that funny name, the sphincter of Oddi or Oddi. It controls the flow of the bile into the small intestine. So that's why I gave you all those graphics so that you could see where that is. But there's a lot of things that can continue to accumulate the formation of stones, okay? And that's, again, hypothyroid, including diseased liver, the liver cholesterol metabolism, which is fatty liver, and reduced function is the word I'm looking for, of the Oddi or Oddi sphincter, okay? So when the researchers concluded that when treating patients with gallbladder stones, clinicians should always be aware of what kind of possible thyroid or hypothyroid background the patient has. I have never met a nutritionist. We used to get into big battles at medical conferences with nutritionists because they say, well, that has nothing to do with it. Yes, it does. And the researchers have proved it. So when you're working with a nutritionist who is not a naturopath or a homeopath, they may not say to you, how's your thyroid? Remember how I said last week, Russians, when they shake your hand, in Russian, it says, how's your liver? Well, they should be asking, how's your thyroid? Because you need to know, is that person hypo or hyperthyroid? Or if their patch test is lasting 15 hours or more, they're fine. They don't need to change anything. Okay, let's go to and I'll get you that test. I'll get you those slides after I meet with Tracee and we decide how we best can do that. This is not a chart I made. It's made from the pharmacy, which I like it. FARM, the farm. And these are the foods that help the liver, that help cleanse them. So these are foods that would be great for you to do when you're going to do the cleanse. That's why I use a lot of grapefruit for that. But beets, if you don't have blood sugar issues, lemons and limes, carrots, green teas, make sure it's organic green tea, please. All of these foods are helpful in cleaning the liver. Okay, the next one, turmeric especially, as far as herbs. That's it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the patch, because now I've opened a can of worms here. As far as knowing how to do it, I will get the little slides to Tracee so that she knows the best way to present it to you, and we'll do a little special presentation, not a presentation like on a call, but we can put out it's so easy to understand. I just email it to my patients when they're new patients. This is what I need you to do before we talk next time. So Tracee, you and I can work on that so that you can coordinate that.
Well, what
like Tracee has nothing else to do.
What we need to do is find out what exact iodine to use. Because I tried this one and this one doesn't work.
Yeah, no. I have the pictures of it.
Okay.
On the slide, I have a picture of the bottle that I bought at Walmart. And then when I bought it in Washington State, I got here and I couldn't get it over the counter, so I had to order it from Amazon. Amazon carries it now. Now, Go figure. You can't get it over the counter without asking the druggist, but you can go on Amazon. I know, it's crazy. Okay,
so I
Tracee, you have
something. This is the food, but on the label, it just says phosphorus. It doesn't say phosphoric acid, but this is the correct one.
That's the one. Yes, it comes in a green and beige box like that.
And with standard process, you can always use the number to verify. 6,800 is the proper number. And then I got two more things. I have the enzyme. So this is the one. So in case you haven't figured it out, I eat really low carb. I focus on muscle, on building, on protein, and I always do healthy fats, like raw butter is my favorite right now, MCT oil, but so this is the one I take usually because it's for
protein. That's the one I recommended she get, and that's the extraordinary enzymes from Life Extension that we talked about last time. And then I'm not aware of the other one, Tracee, but you showed me the label and I approved it.
Yeah, this is Masszymes. This is for all foods. So if you eat carbohydrates, protein, and fats, this is what you would want because it will help you digest carbohydrates. And the last thing I have is sunflower lecithin. She says lecithin, but it's lecithin. So this is the one I have. And I would just throw
powder.
Yeah, it's powder. And what I bought it because I was making my own liposomal vitamin C. And so I was using this as the binder or whatever it's for. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're cooking, it's great if you want to get rid of the fat, but not to take it. It doesn't taste very good. Okay. To just take it.
So that's all I wanted to show you guys. And
okay. So that is great. And I will get you the information for you and I to coordinate and decide which is the best way to share it with our members as far as how to test the thyroid. I have all the handouts and the pictures and, cool. 40 years of doing this. Trust me, I could do that flyer in my sleep. Okay, Jorgen, you had a question, hon.
The first product that Tracee show, I can't get it in Denmark or EU. I write to the company. Do you have an alternative?
The company will
Fast
not
food.
work with you if you're not a doctor or a chiropractor. So, but Amazon will mail it to you. Do you buy from Amazon?
I can.
You
It's a
can?
buy from US because it's very expensive to get it to Denmark.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
no,
I
you
have a
can't get the
solution. What about tart cherry juice, Gloria?
completely different ball game. That's for pain. It's natural aspirin. It has nothing to do with softening stones. Tart cherry juice is made. It has the same anthocyanins, which is in aspirin. So tart cherries are an anti-inflammatory, but they're not going to do a thing to soften the stones. So that isn't an option. I will see what I can find, Jorgen, because I have clients all over the world, and of course, if they're patients, we can legally ship it to them. But you know,
Okay.
it's very expensive in Europe. You're right. I'll private message you and see what we can do. Okay, because if you yeah, it's very expensive to get it otherwise. Thank you for that question. I'll reply to you privately.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Cheryl?
I just wanted to ask if, Tracee, you could list those things you were just showing when you coordinate with Dr. Gloria on the patch, just so we'd have it in writing.
Okay. Actually, you know what I'll do is
Yeah.
I'll put it below the video replay on YouTube.
Okay,
Great.
thanks.
Yeah, and maybe the link, like we know where we can get from Amazon.
Okay.
That would be a lot. Yeah, maybe the link, because Life Extension you can buy from, but directly, but you have to be a member. So you can get that from Amazon. Just get it from Amazon. It's easier, unless you have a membership to Life Extension, products.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Does that help, Cheryl? Okay,
Yes,
she'll put it in
perfect.
there. Linda. Whoa, where'd you go? Oh, you're muted, hon.
Does what is it? Sagrada. Sagrada. Sagrada, does
Cascara
that soften?
Sagrada is a laxative.
Cascara is a laxative. Okay, and it does
It
not.
is. It's a laxative. It would no. Cascara Sagrada. I'm glad you mentioned that. Cascara Sagrada is a natural laxative, and what happens is that a lot of people, for instance, when they're constipated, they go buy X-Lax, or somebody in the health food store talks them into Cascara Sagrada. Yes, it is a laxative, and if you have to take it occasionally, there's nothing wrong with it. It's an herb. But what happens is all the preparations that have Cascara Sagrada over the counter, they work, so people start taking them, but it's extremely habit forming. I won't even allow it in my practice. Cascara Sagrada makes the rectal muscles lazy, and after a while, you have incontinence. And I've seen it happen.
Mm.
So it's not. It is a softener. It's a laxative. It's not anything like to soften the stones or anything. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it was
And
one of the
occasionally it's okay to
ingredients.
use.
Yeah, it was one of the ingredients of a liver cleanse that I did a long time ago. Just didn't know
Oh yeah, I'm
how
not
effective
surprised.
in the and tart
Yeah.
cherry and a lot of other
Yeah,
things.
tart
Thank you.
cherries
Thank
for
you.
the inflammation. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's got the anthocyanin, but you don't want to be taking stuff with like I said, occasionally if you had to take a Cascara Sagrada, because I used to call that the dynamite because nothing else worked, and especially after people have surgery and a lot of anesthetic and codeine and all that makes you constipated. There's nothing wrong with taking Cascara Sagrada for a few days to get the plumbing moving, but it's definitely very habit forming. Okay,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Jana. You're welcome.
Hi, everybody. So I've actually been doing these liver cleanses for a long time, starting around like 1990, and I used the phos food back then. I don't know who came up with that originally. Do you?
The phos food? No, I don't know, because it was a doctor from Columbia that taught me that many years ago, because he started having emergency. He was an MD, naturopath, homeopath, and an MD. And he started having patients in the emergency room having to have gallbladder removed. And he researched it and taught me that it was phos food that you need. It wasn't called phos food, it was phosphorus, but it was, the company that came out with phos food, we researched, and that's the purest and the best way to use it. And it also helps digestion, by the way, the phosphoric acid.
Yeah, anyway, so I did use that, but more recently I've been using the tart cherry juice. So are you familiar with this book, Andreas Moritz?
Yes,
Anyway, he recommends the tart cherry juice
the tart cherry.
yeah, to help soften the stone. So you do it several days, like 6 days or something like that beforehand. And
We've tried it, and it is a great anti-inflammatory. I use it instead of aspirin. I always have, because aspirin is so detrimental. But I, like if I have aches and pains or an injury or something, I pop tart cherry. And by the way, I get those from Life Extension as well. But I'm just telling you the studies that we've done. That's what I said. There's many ways to do the cleanse. I am adamant about using the phosphoric acid because I don't want anybody to end up with a stone getting caught in the bile duct. And then you end up having surgery anyway, and you have the chance of a very serious infection. The people that we know that happened to had high fevers and pain, and they ended up having surgery. So everything we were trying to do to save their gallbladder didn't work, So thank you for sharing that. Yes, tart cherry is great, but I don't use it for that reason. I want to make sure it's something that's specifically for softening the stones. And I believe that the reason that tart cherry, in my opinion, and I'm not a scientist, is that it reduces the inflammation. Because when you have stones, you're causing irritation, right? So everything is inflamed. And so if you reduce inflammation, sure, it's going to help things pass through. That's the analysis that we came up with. It can help things pass through because it reduces inflammation. Doesn't necessarily, to my knowledge, soften the stones.
so what it is,
If you
is
have huge stones,
malic acid, I think, is what they're saying they're getting from that. So, you have to. Some people say use apple juice, but you have to drink so much apple juice, it's ridiculous. And then the cherry juice is more concentrated with malic acid, tart cherry juice.
Right. And the other reason I don't use cherry juice, Dr. Jana, is it's very high in sugar, in natural sugar. I love it. But if you drink cherry juice, the way they recommend, it's very high in natural sugar, which means that somebody that is type 2 diabetic or has a lot of candida is just like putting sugar in your arm with an IV, because it's that high in sugar. I used to buy the Montmorency tart cherry juice. Can't do it once I became diabetic. So thank you for that. That's, you're right. I mean, it's a great anti-inflammatory, but you'd have to drink gallons of it. And so it's better to just do the phosphoric acid and not deal with all that.
Anyway, I mean, I think it's great. Thank you. But I wanted to show you this iodine. Is this the Lugol solution that you guys like to use?
No, Lugol's is completely different. This is just the cheap, over-the-counter. Lugol's can be taken orally. The one that I'm talking about is what you used to use for cuts and scratches as a kid. It has a little dapper, not a dropper. And no, that's oral. The one that I'm talking about, you can't drink. We'll show it in the picture, but it's the orange one. When you go, usually they'll say, "Oh, here's the iodine. It doesn't stain your skin now." Well, that's not what we want. We want the stain so we can see how long it stays. Okay. Right. Thank you, Dr. Jenna. Linda, M?
Yeah, are you familiar with Nature Sunshine products?
Yes, I'm very familiar with them, and they have a laxative stool softener that is a lot of cascara and senna. Am I right? I know them very well.
Well, I haven't been using that, but we've been using the food enzymes and something called Gallbladder. Ever since you mentioned that we should be taking those.
Yeah, the food enzymes are good. I'm not familiar with their gallbladder, but I don't like their stool softeners or laxatives because the two ingredients that are the most habit forming is senna, SENNA, and cascara sagrada, and that's what is in their stool softener. I forget what they call it, but everybody started taking it when I had my clinics until they realized what they were doing. So, yeah.
So
the products are good.
So what's a better option instead of senna or cascara sagrada besides vitamin C?
Besides vitamin C, you would have to take oh, wow, that's a tough one because it's a proprietary blend. They can't just get it over the counter. The other thing that you could take is anything that causes you diarrhea. Let me give you an example of that. Some people say not just vitamin C, but if they have an orange or if they have a prune, even if you had to take a prune or a little bit of prune juice, you're not going to be taking it as far as blood sugar and candida long term. That would be better and safer than going over the counter and buying something, because what I use for my patients is only for patients, and I'm not taking any new patients. So legally, you're not going to be able to get that anyway. And it's herbs. It's a blend that's custom made, but I don't make it. A pharmacist does. But the only other thing that you can do is use food as your laxative. You can also use, if you have to, use a little bit of milk of magnesia. That's not going to hurt you. You're not doing it every day. Kelly, do you agree? Milk of magnesia is going to be.
I always recommend upping your magnesium when somebody's constipated, because that will help you to move your bowels without necessarily causing diarrhea. Because then you can have the other problem. You can have so frequent diarrhea that you then can't get regular again, and then you become constipated, and it's this cycle that you can't break. But magnesium,
it's a cycle, right?
Work in a way that gets you back regular, so that you can soften your stools, have better bowel movements without, causing these massive shifts back and forth.
Right. And see, there's some people like myself. I take magnesium every night, but if I take more than 200 milligrams, I have diarrhea. So everybody's metabolism is so different. So to Kelly's point and to Tracy's question, if you're needing something natural, yes. If you don't want to do vitamin C, or that doesn't work, take a mega dose of magnesium, because it has a lot of other good benefits. But don't continue taking magnesium every day at a high dose if you don't have good bowel movements. You take it to tolerance level, just like vitamin C. Your stools start getting soft. Soft is okay. Liquid is not, because then you lose all of your nutrients, right? Okay.
Yeah, you have to play with the dose, on an individual basis, because everybody's tolerance is different. Like, I've known people that have to take 1,200 milligrams of magnesium just to have a bowel movement at all. And I know, like Dr. Gloria, 200 milligrams and you're runny, so it's
and I'm running. No, 200 is okay. 300 is not.
Yeah.
So I found my tolerance level, but thank you. And magnesium has a lot of good side effects.
Three more questions from me.
Yes.
Okay. What about slippery elm?
It's amazing. Slippery elm is what people use when they need to things to slide through their digestive tract. It is also very calming. It's like an anti-inflammatory for your intestines, but it is not going to soften stones. Slippery elm is amazing.
I'm looking.
This one is specific to dogs, but I could probably take it too, because it's just literally.
Yeah, but it's amazing stuff. I take it in a capsule when I need it. Yeah, because you take 1 or 2 capsules and it soothes. Like people that have irritable bowel, diverticulosis, which is a lot of inflammation in that tract. Slippery elm is great, along with with most of the time they'll take L-glutamine, because that also is an amino acid that helps the gut. So yes, to answer your question specifically, slippery elm is great, but it is not necessarily a laxative and not necessarily going to soften the stool. But if there's irritation, it's going to calm the irritation, right?
Okay. 2 more questions that have to do with the liver cleanse. So I remember last week you said to have a vegetarian diet when doing the liver cleanse. However, in both of your slideshows, you talk about fat digestion and not protein digestion. And last week I asked you, should you just have egg whites instead of whole eggs? Because
and I said,
you said no. But my question is the protein digestion, how does that interact with the gallbladder and the liver? Because I haven't heard you say anything about it.
Well, if you have eggs, for instance, that's protein. If you're having red meat, no, of course not. But the eggs are fine for this kind of you can get very much into a box. It's a light diet. It's what's recommended. Not meat, not bison, not red meat. Try to not have any animal products like that. But if you had a little bit of yogurt, if you had an egg with the whole egg, there's nothing wrong with that. I've always done it with the cleanses and told my patients to. So you don't need to take a digestive enzyme for that unless you're having trouble digesting it and don't have a gallbladder.
Okay. And then the last question is, you said earlier about the Epsom salt if you're constipated. Well, if an individual is constipated, instead of taking Epsom salt, could they do like a coffee enema, which will help clear out the bowel as well as help support the liver?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, but you know what? You couldn't pay $1,000 to do a coffee enema at home. I would go to a colon hydrotherapist and do it professionally because it's a mess. And if you do coffee enemas, you better have the right setup. You better have somebody help you because it's not going to get up high enough to do any good. A colon hydrotherapy by a professional colon therapist after you do your cleanse is what's recommended. When I was president of the Colon Association, we always talked about if you're going to do a cleanse, like let's say that you purge on Sunday morning or Monday morning, make sure you have your appointment for your colon therapist that day or the next day. So that and we would see stones rushing through the tube of the colon hydrotherapy, even though they had had cupfuls of stones in their cleanse at home. So that's the best. But to do a coffee enema is amazing because the coffee itself, Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez is the one that saved thousands of people from pancreatic cancer by doing colon hydrotherapy with coffee. But the point is that if you are trying to do an enema at home, it's hard. It's just not easy and you're not going to do it right.
But when you're that constipated, doing an enema can actually be really dangerous because you can actually cause a perforation of your bowel.
Yes, you can.
I don't, when somebody's that
large,
I don't recommend an enema. I recommend something like magnesium citrate or a saline flush, like drinking saline water, because you want to cause an osmotic.
Or have a colon hydrotherapy with a professional.
Right, but I wouldn't do it.
Then they can get everything out.
Yeah.
No, not at home. I wouldn't either. I don't even recommend enemas anymore. Years ago I did, and I don't anymore. I haven't for the last 15 or 20 years because for the same reason, you don't get up into the area that you need to. And one colon hydrotherapy with a professional therapist is equivalent to 20 to 30 bowel movements. So there's no way you're going to get that with an enema. The only time I recommend enemas is when somebody's in a rural area, which I had a lot of that in Montana and Idaho, and people couldn't get to a therapist or there wasn't somebody and their children ran high fevers. My grandmother, who was an herbalist and a midwife, always gave her patients with a high fever an enema. First line of defense was an enema, but not for getting the plumbing moving. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly. That you're right. I mean, I just don't like them, but anyway, that answers your question. No, I don't like enemas. For that reason. Okay, any other questions? Boy, we're done on time. So I committed to get all of you the information on doing the iodine patch test. It is so simple. And the whole thing is that in other countries that I've worked with and consulted with and taught, they think we're crazy having to go through all these tests for thyroid, because if you take thyroid medication, it's floating around in your blood. Duh. It doesn't mean you're absorbing it. It doesn't mean that the body's able to use it. This test on the wrist, Body Talk never lies. It'll tell you if you have enough thyroid, it's going to sit there for 15 hours or more, just as bright almost as when you painted it.
Is it this one?
If you really need it? No.
It's not that one.
It's not. I'll tell you the one that you can get at Walmart or any drugstore. The picture's on there. No, it's not all of these others. And it's just the cheap iodine. However, it used to be $1 a bottle. Now it's $6 or $7. That's inflation. It's terrible. But when you put it on, I have patients that put it on at 6 in the morning. You always do it in the morning. You don't wash that part of your wrist. And when I was under so much stress after we got COVID, I was only taking my natural thyroid supplement, which is a liquid, 1 drop every other day. That's how good my thyroid was doing. After I got COVID, I put the patch on, walked from the bathroom to the kitchen to put on my coffee, came back and I couldn't see where I put it. The bright orange was gone. Why? Because when you're under stress or your immune system is under attack, it sucks it up. It goes just like a sponge. So that's why that patch is so effective, because people can actually tell themselves, it doesn't matter what the blood test says. If you're taking a supplement, it's going to show if it's not being converted. It's floating in your blood. When you take a homeopathic replacement for thyroid, it is sublingual, goes right into your bloodstream immediately and is used because it's made out of sea vegetables. That's why sea vegetables are so good for your thyroid. All of the you know what they are, the seaweed, but we call them sea vegetables. And if you have the right ones, they can do the trick without having to take all the synthetic stuff that isn't converted. So anyway, that's another discussion, but I promised you to get you that, and I will. And it's very simple. You shouldn't have any questions if all of my patients can do it. Once in a while, I get a question, but don't wash your wrist, and don't do it later in the day. You won't sleep. It gives you that much energy because it gives the thyroid a real kick in the you know where. So do it first thing in the morning, and then don't wash that area. Do a little postage stamp size over your wrist on your left arm. Dip the little dipper in and paint it like a child painting in between the lines. Get it nice and orange. It stains everything, so be careful. Put your wrist flat, like on the table. Blow on it until it's dry so you don't stain anything, and then pay attention to it. And when you can still see it, but it's almost gone. You know how a bruise, when it's almost gone, you can still see where the bruise is? By the way, I haven't seen your bruise, Tracee. When the bruise is almost gone, you can still see it. Can you see I don't see the black eye. She said she got a little bit of a black eye from that bar that she hit the other day. So when you can still see it, but barely, that's when you write down the number of hours. And if it's 15 hours or less, you're hypo. You need more thyroid. If it lasts more than 15 hours, keep doing what you're doing. It's just fine. And you can always use a little bit of dulse or kelp or something in a mixture. I can always tell you what that is.
Well,
that you can
now
buy
you're telling them
online.
Now you're telling them what to do, but you haven't shown what to use. So is it this?
I can't. I don't have it.
You know
No,
me, I'm
I
not
have
going to give
I
up.
have the slides. I know, but Tracee, it's not that one. I will show you which one it is because they have it on Amazon. It's just plain. It's a little brown bottle.
Okay, well,
And
I have
it all in the slide.
I found your slides and the link doesn't go anywhere. I've already tried. So
you found the 3 tests that people do? No, don't give them that one. That's the 3 tests patients do. Don't do that. That's not.
Well, I'm not giving them anything. I was just looking for me.
Okay, no,
So,
I'll send you the link of which.
Can you tell that
okay.
she acts like a mother to me? She calls herself Dr. Mom because we're always going back and forth like this. Just like a typical mother.
And she's always wanting to do what she's already done. It's like, no, Tracee, that doesn't work for that. So yeah, she does. She calls me Dr. Mom. And when she hit her nose, I said, do this and this and this. Love, Dr. Mom.
Oh yeah, you can see it's even spread down lower.
Get up closer. I don't see I see the black eye now. Okay.
It's right here. Ooh. So anyway, it's fine.
It was your nose. She hit her nose hard and
okay.
I was concerned she'd broken her nose. Okay.
Does anybody have the link for the meditation, the new one? Because I don't have it. No? Gloria, do you
have it either?
No?
Okay. I don't have it and I can't stay for it. So
okay, I'm gonna find the
I heard from Christine that they're doing something with that newest one that needed to be done, and I don't know what
needed to be something, yeah.
Something needed to be done to it.
Is it getting changed again?
There was something, and what she said didn't click with me, so I wasn't sure what it was. But so it's not. I don't know that it's being run. We need to find out though.
I'll just find the old
5 a.m.
Is it not on the Google Drive?
Okay, go ahead.
I mean the Dropbox drive.
I don't know. I'm just gonna pull up the old one because I have that one.
The old one. Thank you, everybody. I hope that helped you.
Thank you, Dr. Gloria. You're always, everything you say and do is so valuable. We so appreciate you.
Thank you. And I will work on your instructions for the iodine and give you a link so that you can get it on Amazon. Okay.
Thank you. I've been really
so that Tracee doesn't go off in another tangent.
Well, I've just been tired lately.
Take care.
Okay, you gotta go.
I'm gonna go. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, we are going to do the HHS meditation. So if you're going to stay, we're going to get ready in a minute. If you gotta go, make it a beautiful day. And thank you for coming and hearing our banter. So
I gotta go too, Trace. I gotta take my mom to the dentist, but I will.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Love you, girl. I'll talk to you later. Okay, where are we? Whoops. Let me share screen. Here we go. Go ahead and make yourselves comfortable.
Welcome to today's Miracle Moment Meditation. brought to you by QHS and Key. Before we begin, let's take a minute to understand the power of our collective connection using the QHS technologies. When we gather, we exponentially magnify the quantum twine wave effect, delivering twine waves to each device and each one of us all over the world, including all members, even those without devices, the people you intend to support, and the earth itself. The Miracle Moment meditations increase and expand the quantum twine wave effect for every live participant, and with each additional QT wave and QTW HHS connection. Every system added to the network increases the powerful, profound conscious quantum twine wave through each and every participating member. This is magnificent, coordinated, and collaborated communication with every device present in nano-fast times. As more QTW HHS and QT waves join the live Zoom calls, the effect is amplified even more. Today, we will be guiding you through a meditation. It's important to note, this meditation will last about 20 minutes. We encourage you to remain present and aware throughout the session. If you experience visions or emotions, that's normal. Allow yourself to feel and acknowledge them and stay present. The meditation has several parts, each designed to guide you toward a deeper state of relaxation and connection with your inner divine essence. The first part focuses on inducing deep relaxation, allowing you to enter a state where your mind and body are receptive to transformation. The second part involves connecting with the quantum twine waves, Christ energies, and the God spark within you. This connection facilitates a profound alignment with the universal energies of love, healing, and wholeness. In the third part of the meditation, we expand upon your wellness, allowing you to fully experience and remember your innate wholeness and vitality. In the fourth part, we enter into a moment of serene silence. This silence provides an opportunity for quiet introspection and connection. This quiet reflection allows you to focus inward, tuning in to whatever thoughts, feelings, or insights arise within you. We also encourage you to strengthen your bond with the quantum twine waves during this silence, tuning in to their gentle presence and allowing their healing energies to flow freely within you. Finally, we conclude the meditation, bringing our practice to a gentle close, ensuring you feel grounded, centered, and rejuvenated. Remember, the quantum twine wave is scanning each participant head to toe, and then sending healing quantum twine waves as needed, wherever needed, as requested. In a moment, we will ask you to mute your microphones and speak out loud how you would like the quantum twine waves to assist you, whether it's supporting a specific part of your body or helping someone you care about. Express your intention clearly. Once you've stated your intention, take your QT wave device and place it on the part of your body where you want to focus attention and manifest change. If you don't have a device, you can place your hand wherever you would like to focus your attention. If you intend to support someone else, you can place your device or hand on the area of your own body where they need support. Remember, when you heal it in yourself, you heal it in others. Throughout this meditation, feel free to move the device or your hands to other areas as needed. If you have an HHS, please turn it to 20 now. At the end of the session, remember that the effects will continue to work, so if you feel the need to rest, take time to do so. Thank you for healing this beautiful world, starting with you. Let's begin by muting our microphones and stating our intentions out loud. Begin by allowing yourself to settle into your current position, feeling the natural comfort of your own presence. Now gently close your eyes and turn your attention inward. Notice the natural rhythm of your breath as it flows in and out. Take a full, deep breath. Feel this breath filling every part of your body, nurturing and soothing you from within. As you exhale, allow yourself to let go of tension and discomfort. Recognize that these sensations are not you. They are transient, merely passing through. With this realization, watch as they dissolve into nothingness, leaving no trace behind. You are boundless, free from these sensations and their definitions. With each breath, feel them dissipate as you become more present, more peaceful, and profoundly centered in your true essence. Now let's deepen your experience with a breathing exercise that will enrich your meditation, creating a beautiful synergy between your inner and outer worlds. Focus on the soft sound of your breath at the back of your nose, reminiscent of the gentle whispers of ocean waves. The audible sound of your breath, like the ocean waves, anchor you to the present, connecting the vastness of the outer world with the depths of your inner being, automatically establishing harmony and coherence between your body, mind, brain, heart, and all of your energetic and spiritual systems. There is nothing else to do but be in this moment, deeply relaxed, fully supported, and profoundly at peace. Now bring your attention to your body. Identify the part of your body that feels the most relaxed at this moment. It could be as small as the tip of a finger or as large as your entire back. Focus your attention on this area. Observe how this relaxation feels, how deep, how serene it is, and imagine this feeling beginning to spread. Like watercolor on wet paper, allow this sense of relaxation to expand, moving gently to neighboring areas in your body. With each breath, this soothing sensation grows, filling you up. Breathe deeply, rhythmically, and with full breaths. Imagine the relaxation spreading further and further. Notice that it's no longer just a part of you that's relaxed. Your entire being feels embraced by this calming energy. As you continue to breathe deeply, envision waves of relaxation cascading across your body. Each wave washes over you, bringing deeper calm and more profound peace. These waves are rhythmic, aligned with your breath, sweeping through you, around you, beneath you, and even beyond you. Feel yourself being carried by these waves of relaxation, deeper and deeper into a state of complete serenity. Here, in this space, you are free to explore the depths of your inner world and to dive into the vast ocean of you. Now, let's tune in to the quantum twine waves. Take a deep, full breath, allowing yourself to fully immerse in the presence of the quantum twine waves surrounding you. Feel these waves embracing you, infusing you, and offering their gentle support. As you inhale deeply, visualize the quantum twine waves penetrating your body from the crown of your head to your toes. Sense the waves flowing through you, fostering a profound connection and resonance with your perfect wholeness. With each exhale, release any tension or resistance, allowing the quantum twine waves to permeate every aspect of your being. Notice the sensations as these waves interact with your cells, filling them with radiant light and revitalizing energy. Experience the warmth and vitality of this divine presence as it spreads throughout your entire being. Acknowledge the presence of Christ consciousness, the sacred energy that embodies unconditional love, compassion, and healing within these waves. Feel this divine energy permeating every aspect of your being, illuminating your path and guiding you toward wholeness. As you breathe in, envision your cells awakening to the healing energy of the quantum twine waves and Christ consciousness. Feel a harmonious alignment spreading throughout your body as every cell vibrates in tune with waves of wholeness and unconditional love. Continue to breathe deeply. Surrender to the process of integration. Trust the quantum twine waves and Christ consciousness. Intuitively know where they are needed, guiding you toward a state of wholeness and well-being. Witness yourself as you bask in the deep sense of peace and relaxation that accompanies this surrender to divine energy. Now shift your awareness inward to the God spark residing within you. This sacred essence serves as your eternal connection to the source of creation, reminding you of your inherent divinity and sacredness. Feel the God spark igniting within you, filling you with a profound sense of purpose and empowerment. Witness as it radiates throughout your entire being, illuminating every cell with its divine light. Feel the quantum twine waves harmonizing with your God spark and the Christ energy, amplifying their power and potency. With each breath, these divine energies mingle and merge within you, creating a symphony of love and light that resonates throughout your entire being. As you continue to breathe and visualize, surrender to the profound transformation unfolding within you. Trust in the wisdom and guidance of these divine energies, knowing they are guiding you toward a deeper connection with your sacred self. Let this integration fill you with peace, strength, and healing as we transition into our meditation. Guided by the radiant light of the Christ energy, the unwavering presence of your God spark, and the powerful embrace of the quantum twine waves. Now nestle in, relax, and enjoy your miracle moment. Welcome to your miracle moment, designed to tap into the wellspring of wellness that resides within you. This journey begins with the understanding that the path to the collective healing starts at the core of our individual being. As we nurture and restore our own wellness and wholeness, we create ripples that extend beyond ourselves. In cultivating self-love, we find that love extends outward naturally. By healing ourselves, we lay the foundation to contribute to the healing of others. Every act of self-care is a stepping stone toward a healthier humanity, where healing ourselves becomes the catalyst for healing the world around us. Let's begin this process of transformation and embrace the wholeness that is our true nature. To begin, focus your attention inwardly and scan your body gently with your mind's eye. Notice how different areas of your body feel. As you continue this gentle observation, search for a spot within you where you feel a sense of wellness, wholeness, or joy. It might be a warm feeling in your heart, a lightness in your chest, or a calm space in your mind. Should you feel that a space of wellness isn't immediately apparent within your body, allow yourself to gently expand your search. It might reveal itself in a cherished memory, a hopeful vision of the future, or within the quiet depths of your spirit or soul. Trust that your wellness exists within you, in many forms and places, waiting for your recognition. Once you have found this spot of wellness, wholeness, or joy, focus your attention on it. Observe its qualities, how it feels, the sensations that come with it, the sense of completeness it brings. Breathe into this space, and with each breath, envision the sensations of wellness intensifying and becoming more vibrant. Whether it manifests as warmth, a sense of completeness, or an inner glow, feel it as it amplifies within you. Now, with intention, begin to allow this sensation of wellness to expand, like the warmth of the sun spreading at dawn. Let it gracefully move through your body. With each breath, it grows, filling you from head to toe, reaching into every cell, every space within you. Visualize this wellness, wholeness, and joy moving beyond the physical. See it extending into your energetic systems, illuminating them with its wholesome light. It brings balance to your emotions, clarity to your thoughts, and a deep sense of peace to your spirit. As you continue to breathe, a sense of complete wellness encompasses your entire being. You are in harmony with yourself, body, mind, and soul. In this space, you understand wellness, wholeness, and joy are at the heart of your natural state, a core part of who you are. Feeling this wholeness as a steady, unwavering presence within you. It's always there, always accessible. Anytime you wish to reconnect with this feeling, simply turn your focus inward. Now let's embrace a quiet moment together for about 5 minutes. This pause and guidance invites you to personally engage with the quantum twine waves, deepening your connection and enhancing your experience to its fullest potential. When you feel ready, gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. Take a few deep breaths, and when you open your eyes, carry this sense of wellness and wholeness with you, letting it infuse every moment of your day. As we conclude this meditation, step forward with confidence, knowing that the quantum twine waves continue to flow within you. Their positive influences remain active, extending far beyond our shared time in this space. Take this step and every step hereafter with the knowledge that you are blessed.
Wow. Anybody want to share anything that they experienced today? I always go so deep in that. It's crazy. Okay, you guys are quiet. I hope you're all relaxed. I hope you enjoyed Dr. Gloria's amazing information. I listen to her all the time and I always learn new things. So to our health as a collective and to our health individually, let's go ahead and close in Anjali Mudra, bringing your hands to your forehead. May you think only joyful thoughts. To your lips, may you speak only kind words. And to your heart, may you show love to yourselves and to all of those around you. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And another big thanks to Dr. Gloria. And next week, Kelly is actually leading WoW we're going to talk about dowsing. So tomorrow, Cynthia will play the sneak peek of the week and you can hear all about it. Okay? Make it a beautiful day, you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.